what's the thing you think that which should be followed regularly for attaining success? What's a key point you're having in your mind for attaining success, or for maintaining a successful life? What's the three things, or what are the things you're keeping in your minds?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of things.
Yeah,
One, the older I get, and you see me say this a lot, but well, there's a few. I'll kind of throw out a few. One is protecting your time and energy.
yeah,
I think your energy is extremely important because now more than ever, with everything that's going on with COVID-19 and just there's so much going on in the world that it's very easy to be drawn into negative energy. And
yeah,
especially when you're trying to do things that people think are a little bit crazy in a good way, like if you've got big dreams, it's
yeah,
even more important to protect that energy because it's so easy to be discouraged. So being mindful of your energy so that you're able to put forth your best effort all the time to me is really important. Protecting your time is really important too. And I
yeah,
think I fall victim of this a lot is it's so easy to get distracted, to be on your phone nonstop, to do, especially with social media. And there is a purpose for that, obviously, especially as a motivational speaker. But the reality is you can waste an hour just sitting there scrolling through and not really being productive with that time. The average person looks at their phone 125 times a day. So
yeah,
being mindful of carving out that time to really focus on your goals and focus on what's most important. So protecting your time, protecting your energy. The other one is
yeah,
good attracts good. And I think being a positive oriented person who wants to help others and inspire them with a positive attitude is always going to lead you in a good direction. With that though, and I know it's hard right now because of just the shape of the world and what we're in with COVID-19,
yeah,
is I've built my whole life and career around relationships and volunteering and serving in the community and helping
yeah,
others. And I think that's something that most people overlook is they don't make the time to get involved in their community. And when you talk about everything, so I'm getting into my book a little bit, Giving for Growth, but to me, they hold true. It's the three truths that I kind of live by. Um, our mission as an organization is to power the good. That's mine as a person as well. But it goes off these three truths. And the first one is that people physically solve problems. And so a dollar bill doesn't walk, it doesn't talk, it doesn't mentor a child, it doesn't solve any problems. People physically do. So if we want to see the change, we have to be the change, right? We have to hold up our hand
yeah,
and
yeah,
volunteer and do exactly
yeah,
what you're talking about too. So we have to physically be involved. The second truth, though, is that people provide opportunities for people. And that's where whatever you do as a speaker, as an author, um, as a doctor, as a lawyer, as an entrepreneur in marketing and media, whatever you do, it relies on other people believing in you and giving you an opportunity. And that comes down to trust. And to me, the best way to build trust and to build your legacy and your relationships is to go and serve in the community. And I think that's
yeah,
something that a lot of people don't do. They don't spend time on, and they lose that opportunity to really build relationships. And the other thing is that back to even where you want to go as a speaker, the more you serve and put yourself out there, the more people who are going to know you, they're going to know your heart,
yeah,
and they're going to say, you know what? Wow, she's such a good person. And I saw her over there, and what she delivered was powerful. I want her to come and speak to my organization. And even on my end,
yeah,
when you look at really almost every single speech that I've given, even the opportunities where I'm booked through a speakers bureau, like even meeting them and working with them, 100% of that was because of relationships. And so I think that's the key that
okay,
everyone doesn't really necessarily spend enough time on is putting themselves out there, but really trying to build relationships and do it in a way where people can see that you're good at what you do, but you're a good person.
yeah. It was really good, sir. And whom do you think that was a supporting pillar for Doctor, or for a supporting factor for yourself? Whom do you think was playing an important key role in your life?
Yeah, I mean, there's So many. I mean, it starts obviously with my family. So I've got a wife and two kids, and
Oh,
they are extremely supportive. And when you look at the hours that I work, it's a 24/7 deal. And so when
oh,
you take on this sort of responsibility, you're basically working and you're representing others everywhere you go, whatever you do. And so that's something that I take ownership in, but my family does as well. And so for her, it's late at night right now here where we are. And so my wife is saying, "Hey, go do this." And this stuff is important. And then my family, my mom and dad and my brother and his family. So they all have shaped me. But then, I mean, I've got mentors and coaches and tennis coaches who I still keep in touch with, who are like brothers. And I've got, family basically in Los Angeles that are that I've created as family, because they're not like my biological family, but they are my family. And so all of these people and the business and community leaders here in the Mid-South and in Nashville and everywhere that even in New York and like all these places, I go back to relationships. All of them have become
yeah,
friends. And I think when you do the good work, when you pour in the heart work as much as the hard work, it creates a bond with people that you can't really measure or put words on. People like Manny Ahome, who's the founder of Samaritan's Feet, that has become my brother basically. He and his family. Um,
oh,
yeah, like he's someone that I've just gotten to know for over a decade now by serving with him. And not just serving with him here, but
oh,
like serving across the whole US, washing kids' feet, giving them new socks and shoes. And through him, I've met amazing global leaders. It's like that's the
yeah,
kind
oh,
of stuff that just I go back to the service. When you do the service, you meet so many people who become friends, but they become mentors, and
yeah,
they pour into me like I try to pour into them with positive energy. And I think, going back to what we said before, it's so easy to be distracted or to be pulled in one direction. And so that's where, for all of us, kind of coming together and banding together and say, look, if I can pour into you and inspire you, and then you can inspire somebody else and they can inspire somebody else, we can continue to push this pipeline of just positive energy. That's what the world needs more of.
yeah, yeah. Well said, sir. So, another one interesting question. If you're in front of students, you're going to give some advice to the students. So, what will be the advice which you are going to the students? The most effective advice.
So it kind of depends on the age of the students. So if it's we'll say high school and younger, for that group, I really focus on obviously school, so making sure that they're getting good grades, but on their end, volunteerism is, I tell them, one of the most important things is to get out and serve. And you can do it as a family, you can do it as an individual, but the world is looking for leaders. And this then transitions into college students. So for college students, one of the things that I tell them is serve with one larger nonprofit and one smaller nonprofit. The large nonprofit, you'll meet a lot of people, you'll learn a lot of amazing things. The small nonprofit, though, needs a lot of help, and you can serve and you can make a big difference. And you can see physically you and the difference you can make. And
Yeah,
the world, like I said, is looking for leaders. Companies are looking for leaders. While it's great to raise your hand and say, I want to volunteer and serve, what we're all looking for is who's the person that says, you know what, there's a problem, I'm going to do something about it. Hey, why don't you come with me? Why don't you come with me? And together we're going to do this, right? And I think that's something that you can learn at a young age, is the power of not just raising your hand, but taking a
oh,
leadership role in creating the change
leadership.
and getting your friends involved. And I think, like you said, goals are critically important. So, talking about goals is something that really is important,
Yeah,
but also
yeah,
too, a servant leader mindset to me and being purpose driven is really important, because um, one of the biggest things that's going on in this world, and you're seeing it right now take front stage, is that social impact is now mandatory. And what that means is that as companies and individuals, you need to be making a difference. We're looking
Yeah.
at companies to take a stand on Black Lives Matter and racial justice. And for the companies that aren't, employees and the consumers are pushing that. They're pushing them to be involved in the community and to serve and volunteer and give back. And so we're seeing that social impact is critically important for companies, but it's also critically important for employees because they want people who are engaged. So I think that's something that to me is really important at a young age, is realizing that you don't have to have a lot of money and you don't have to have a
Mm.
fancy CEO title. You can make a difference at like age 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yeah.
like all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah.